Hi, friends. Welcome back to Love Good Lane. My name is Matthew. Thanks for joining me. Today, we are in the kitchen, and I thought we'd make some ice cream, some homemade ice cream. And when I'm filming this, it is a beautiful fall day. I was actually outside raking up some leaves and doing some other outside chores. And I don't know. I was just inspired to make some ice cream. I have a ice cream maker. This one is a Cuisinart, a really long time, 20 plus years, and I haven't used it in a while. And I saw it on my shelf the other day, and that contributed to me getting inspired to use it. So I thought we would make some homemade Rocky Road ice cream. And the recipe is from this book. It's a Taste of Home Frosty Treats recipe book. I am cutting it in half because I don't necessarily need, I think it makes a gallon or over a gallon of ice cream. I don't need that much. So I am cutting it in half. But let's get started. Let me turn on the heat here so we can get things going. In this saucepan, I am going to heat 1.5 cups of whole milk, which is heating. No, it's in here. I had to think about that. And then also 1.5 cups of half and half. That seems good. So the recipe says to heat it to 175 degrees. I do have a thermometer, but I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to get it out. So we're just going to let it get really hot. That's close to boiling, but not boiling. So when it's really hot, starting to steam, and I feel like we're getting close, that's when we'll call it. But so we're going to heat that up. We're going to let that go for a few minutes to get it going. And then to that, we are going to add 4.5 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you could use if you have the brick, you can chop that up coarsely. And then 1.25 cup of granulated sugar and about a fourth teaspoon of salt. Then we will stir that in and let it dissolve in that hot mixture. And then we're going to take it off the heat and we're going to put it in this bowl. Right now I just have cold water. I'll add some ice, but we're going to put the cream mixture in a bowl and we're going to submerge it in the ice bath to kind of shock it, bring that temperature down. And we're going to stir it for a couple minutes. And at that point, we're going to add our other ingredients, which are 3 cups of heavy cream, which I have here, and then 1.5 cups of mini marshmallows. I've got those out. We have about 1.25 cups of mini chocolate chips, which I have over here, and then about 3/4 cup of chopped up pecans. And last but not least, about 3 teaspoons of vanilla. I better get that out now so I don't forget. I had everything else out. Don't want to forget my vanilla. Set that up here. All right. I will show you my ice cream maker here in a second, but it is a sort of an insulated bowl that you have to put in the freezer for several hours or, even a few days. I did put mine in the freezer a few days ago. But you have to let that bowl freeze because that's a big part of the process. Once your insulated ice cream maker bowl is frozen, then you put it onto the ice cream maker. This little doohickey goes down in there like this, and then you put the lid on and you turn it on, and this spins around, and that's what churns it. This is, as I said, an old machine. It's kind of loud. That's the only drawback, I guess you might say, to it. I don't know. Maybe newer machines aren't as loud, but it is pretty loud. So if the baby's asleep or whatnot, maybe don't do your ice cream right at that time. But I'll show you that when we get to that point in a little bit. I do want to check in here because I don't remember if we should melt the chocolate and dissolve the sugar and salt in here before we take it off the heat. I think we do, but I better check. Yes, before we take off the heat, we're going to melt in the chocolate and put in our sugar and salt and let that dissolve. And then we'll shock it in the ice bath before we add in our other ingredients. All right, let me get a spoon. I think we're going to use a wooden spoon. So how are you doing today? I hope you've had a great day. When I finish this, I need to get going on dinner. Sort of late afternoon here. I've had a pretty good day. I mentioned that I did some outdoor chores and I did some other things today as well, so fairly productive. Oh, because I have them sitting here, I recently got some new measuring cups and measuring spoons at Aldi. I've mentioned this before. You know, Aldi is my favorite store. And it's not like I don't have measuring cups and measuring spoons. I actually have several sets. However, it is handy when I'm cooking dinner, and oftentimes I'm also doing a dessert, prepping that at the same time, to not have to wash out your measuring cups. I can just grab a new one and keep things rolling along. Anyway, I digress. Aren't these fun? They have a wooden handle and they're stainless. I like that shape. So those are the measuring cups. And then the spoons are very similar. They have the wood handle, but they're sort of straight-sided. I thought they were fun. I like it. Okay. I can hear it. Do you know what I mean by that? It's not like a bubbling, boiling sound, but you can kind of hear when things are moving and grooving. Okay, so I think we're starting to get some steam. I bet we're close. Yep, starting to see some tiny bubbles. I'm going to turn us down a skosh. And then we're going to get going. So I'm adding the chocolate and the sugar and salt. There we go. Give this a stir. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to fill up my bowl, not full, but put some ice in my ice bowl here. That's probably good. Okay, I think that about does it. I'm going to turn off our heat and we're going to put that bowl in there. We're going to transfer this. Hopefully I can do it without making too much of a mess. A couple of our little chocolate chips weren't totally melted, but I think it's fine. We're going to add some other chocolate chips to it in a second anyway. Smells good. Okay, so we're supposed to stir it in this ice bath for 2 minutes. Let me set a timer. Got one little drip on my recipe sheet. There's our timer. Okay, so now we're going to stir in our other ingredients. So we've got the mini chocolate chips. We've got chopped pecans. We've got mini marshmallows and our heavy cream. This is going to be a decadent dessert. Nowhere did it say that this was diet conscious. But it also didn't say that we had to eat a whole quart of ice cream at a time. Maybe a scoop or two would be just fine. Okay. I've stirred that in okay. So now what we want to do, well, first, let me get a towel because I'm going to lift the bowl out. I don't want the bottom to be all sopping. Oh, as I just move it out of the way. Almost forgot. Let's add our vanilla. 1, 2, one more. Okay, there we go. All right, do I have this spread out? I think so. We're going to lift this out. I'm just going to dry it off a little bit. We're going to get some plastic wrap, and I'm going to put some plastic wrap on this, but not so that it's hovering. We want to pat it down so that it's touching the surface, so that as it cools, it doesn't get a not a crust. What's the word I'm looking for? A film on the top. Oops, I got a little crumpled. Okay. I think that's good. Okay, so we're going to pop this into the fridge for about half an hour, and then I'll bring you back so we can get it into our ice cream maker. Okay, we're back. It's been about 30 minutes, and I took our bowl of ice cream mixture out of the fridge. I peeled off the plastic wrap that we had on there. I'm going to give it a little stir. I also took the freezer bowl for the ice cream maker out of the freezer. I have it right there. Okay, and I think that I'm going to use, maybe I'll use one of my new handy dandy measuring cups with the handle to get this in there. Hopefully I'm not going to make too big of a mess. Okay. So this will go back in the fridge. There's probably enough for another batch or another round in the freezer bowl, I should say. You just wipe this off. Cold. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this onto the base of the ice cream maker. And then this part goes down in there like this. Pop the top on. I'm going to turn it on, and then we're going to let it run for 20 to 30 minutes. And that will take it to soft serve ice cream consistency. And at that point, I will bring you back because we're going to transfer it from this container into something that we can put in the freezer so it can firm up even more. Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes, and I think, ooh, yum. I think we're good to go. It's maybe a little bit softer than soft serve consistency. Okay, put this over here for a second. I've got a bowl, and we're going to transfer this to the bowl. Give it a stir. I taste it. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in the freezer and let it firm up. That's going to take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. And then, of course, before you serve it, you'll want to take it out of the freezer for a few minutes, a little bit, to let it soften slightly so you can scoop it out. I will include some photos of the finished product. But this is, as you saw, really easy. Give it a try. And yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below the video. I'd love to hear from you. Give this video a thumbs up, like it if you had fun chatting and making ice cream today, and subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It lets you know when I upload a new video, and it also helps me out, so I appreciate that. So have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.